He didn't play the North at that time. He played in Dublin, and I think it was almost like he was discovering Southern Ireland for the first time.
Yeah, Van Morrison did capture a lot of Ireland. He travelled around it. And what he does, he travels around. Sights, sounds, everything is filtered through. Some of it is retained, presumably some of it's let go. And whatever happened, yes, of course he did. I think he has a great to do. And it's not a sentimental and tourist board version of Ireland. It's his own interpretation of Ireland, which is very real. And I think he has an affection for it. He loves the look of it. He likes the sounds of it, smells of it.
I think going back to Ireland did sort of inspire him to think about Irish culture. I think it was, he'd been away long enough to be able to sort of reassess and maybe reappreciate where he came from and his roots without any sort of embarrassment, because he'd been his own man, he'd gone away, he'd got married, he'd seen a lot of America, and he had something to judge Ireland against, and I think that it's a kind of the beginning of some sort of revival of pride in Ireland. I mean, because he later did, did record Irish music. He did record with the Chieftains.
There was a real Celtic feel to that album, which hadn't been there before. It was, there's a lot of woodwind on that album. Much more Celtic instrumentation in my mind. Also, it's got songs like Streets of Arklow. There's references to Killarney in it. The sense of place is not Northern Ireland or Belfast anymore. It's got a sense of place. It's very much in Southern Ireland. But more than that, the real sense of place is in Morrison's imagination. This is an album where, even more than Astral Weeks in a sense, I mean, the landscape of those songs is indeterminable. Streets of Arklow notwithstanding, which is the only song I think you could actually concretely say this is about Arklow and inspired by that. The rest of it could be anywhere. I mean, it's Ireland, but it's an Ireland of the imagination, very much in Morrison's head.
The Streets of Arklow could be Arklow, Ireland, or Arklow, Scotland, or anywhere, but it definitely had that flavor, that kind of Celtic flavor, or maybe Irish. And the fact that I just automatically gravitated to the recorder on that seemed to, that's what I felt.
Unremarkable town. I'm sure the people at Arklow would think that, but those who pass through it very often do think, good, we're through Arklow now. It's a town on the way to somewhere else. And whatever happened to him there, maybe it's just the sound of the word. It's a beautiful sound of a word. Arklow sounds sweet.
It's probably not the right word to use, but on stage it felt democratic. It didn't feel like there was a leader and then the rest of us. It felt like Van was a part of us and we were a part of him, and that there was an equality somehow going on there. He wasn't social with the band, but musically things were very connected. You just got involved in what was going on. His music was so powerful, it still is, that you just become a part of it.
I never thought that it would pass in the country fair.
They started playing the track. I'd never heard it, and I have earphones on. I had a tenor recorder for that one. I started playing along with it, got to the end of the take, that was it. Just one take without even having heard it, which has a kind of connection to the way Van recorded a lot of his tunes, especially those kinds of tunes. Sometimes he would everybody would be in his studio, and he would just start playing a guitar chordal rhythm pattern, and David, the bass player, would sort of fall in, and nobody would know the tune or where it was going, and some of that stuff was done in one take like that. And some of it, obviously, probably the more complex stuff was rehearsed, But some of the stuff that got on record, as far as I know, was just one take, and on occasion, the band had not even heard it when they started playing. My experience up to that point had been mostly in jazz contexts, and that didn't seem too much different than a lot of the jazz music that I'd played.
On an old open bed, on an old rain track, open bed, in the country fair.
The whole album reached its wonderful epic peak in what I consider Morrison's greatest ever song, I think. I mean, You Don't Pull No Punches, but You Don't Push the River, in which he goes further, in my mind, than he's ever done before. Musically, it's a wonderful combination of both woodwind and orchestration, and the orchestration is brought in both for dramatic effect, but it just elevates the entire song and takes it into somewhere completely different. Its lyrical landscape is absolutely extraordinary. The title was borrowed from Barry Stevens' account of Gestalt therapy. You Don't Push the River, It Flows by Itself was the title of the book. But that's another red herring within the context of that song. It's not about that either. It introduces for the first time Blake into Morrison's work. Blake and the Eternals, the book of Urizen that Blake wrote, which is where the Eternals comes from. It's got the Sisters of Mercy. Who knows what that's all about? And the search for this mythical Veden Fleece. It's like a Jason and the Argonaut's quest, which again brings us back to the quest literature, where we are actually back in the environs of what may be his other greatest song, Listen to the Lion. This is a song about the quest. He's actually using in Veden Fleece the notion of the quest itself, and it's like some great epic voyage into the unknown and into the inner world of Morrison.
Standing with the Sisters of Mercy, looking for the Veden Fleece. William Blake and the Eternals, standing with the Sisters of Mercy, looking for the Veden Fleece.
He's playing games with here because Veden Fleece, as far as I can make out in my